They lied to you. Focus isn't just a productivity trick, it's psychological warfare, a mental battlefield. And on this field, you either command or you're commanded. The world isn't trying to distract you in secret, it's doing it openly, boldly, ruthlessly. Every click, every scroll, every little dopamine hit is another bullet to your ambition. You think you're in control? You're not. You're just another reflex, a pawn, a puppet dancing to someone else's strings. But the fact that you're listening right now, that means something inside you hasn't died yet. Something cold, something sharp, a hunger, a fire that says, I refuse to be average. Understand this. Focus is not a choice. It's a weapon. If you don't wield it, the world will wield it against you. The Machiavellian man doesn't do everything. He does one thing with violent precision. Friends, cut, comfort, rejected, happiness, irrelevant. He doesn't play for peace. He plays for power. Comment this below. Laser over comfort. Focus over chaos. That's your first oath, your first cut. This isn't motivation, it's a mirror. And what you're about to see is the man who walks through fire without flinching. Are you ready to become untouchable? Number 1, focus is the blade that carves the elite. Every elite man you've ever admired was carved by focus. Not talent, not luck, not kindness. Just cold, unrelenting focus. The world doesn't reward the most gifted, it rewards the most locked in. The man who can cut through noise like a scalpel through flesh. While others chase novelty, he obsesses. While they celebrate distraction, he sharpens discipline into a blade. The elite aren't born. They're built in isolation, sculpted by sacrifice and hardened through obsession. You think focus is hard? Good. It's supposed to be. Focus is resistance training for the mind. It breaks the lazy parts of you and replaces them with steel. But here's the secret. Once you taste true focus, the kind where time disappears and your will takes over, you never go back. You can't. Because distraction starts to feel like filth, useless, software. You begin to see it for what it is, seduction for the weak. The average man spreads himself thin. He dips his hand in 100 things and masters none. He calls it balance. I call it cowardice. A Machiavellian man is surgical. He identifies the power move. He devotes everything to it, and he executes, quietly, brutally, without emotion. Focus becomes his religion. Distraction, a betrayal. Understand this. Focus is not something you have. It's something you do. It's an action, a ritual, a ruthless choice you make every minute of the day. And every time you choose it, you're carving yourself out of the stone of mediocrity. You're sculpting something precise, dangerous, and rare, a man who cannot be moved. The world doesn't need more dreamers, it needs more tacticians. Men with sniper minds, men who don't chase dopamine, they chase dominance. Focus is your gateway to power, and power is what separates the remembered from the forgotten. Number 2, comfort is the enemy wearing a friendly face. Comfort is the most seductive enemy you will ever face, and it never shows up with a knife. It shows up smiling, whispering, telling you that you've earned a break, that you're doing enough, that slowing down is self-care, that resting now will somehow make you stronger later. Lie after lie, all dressed in silk, but beneath that softness is a rusted blade aimed at your potential. Understand this. No man ever became a weapon by being comfortable. Greatness has no soft couch, no warm blanket, no safe space. Every man who rose from nothing clawed his way out of the swamp by rejecting comfort. Not sometimes, always. You don't sharpen a sword by bathing it in warm water. You hammer it against fire and stone until it's deadly, until it cuts with a whisper. Comfort is what weak men worship. They seek it in every decision. They build lives around minimizing pain, around chasing ease, and then they wonder why their will is soft and their minds are dull. You can't own your mind if you're owned by comfort. You can't dominate your path if you keep detouring for pleasure. The Machiavellian man doesn't hate comfort, he weaponizes discomfort. He walks toward the fire while others hide from the heat. He knows that the man who suffers with purpose will always dominate the man who avoids pain. And he understands something the average man will never grasp. Suffering is the forge of strength. Every time you say no to comfort, you sharpen yourself. Every time you choose the grind over the escape, you take one more step away from being common and one step closer to becoming unstoppable. You don't rise by doing what's easy. You rise by doing what's necessary, even when it burns, especially when it burns. Number 3, isolation is the incubator of power. Every powerful man you know, he disappeared before he emerged. Understand this, isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. While the world plays, the Machiavellian retreats, not to hide, but to build. Because when you isolate yourself from noise, from weakness, from the intoxication of approval, something begins to grow inside you, something primal. The herd fears silence because it exposes their inner void. They can't sit with their own mind without reaching for distraction. They call it boredom, but the disciplined mind calls it construction. You can't hear your real voice when the world is shouting over it. And make no mistake, the world is always shouting opinions, gossip, validation-seeking nonsense, all of it designed to drown the clarity out of your skull. But when you go silent, when you pull away and sink into solitude, something happens. Your thoughts sharpen, your instincts wake up, your vision becomes unforgiving. Isolation is where clarity is born. It's where illusions die. And without clarity, there is no power. Only noise dressed as movement. Most men are addicted to being seen. They post, they pose, they chase likes like beggars chasing coins. But the Machiavellian vanishes. He lets his silence do the talking. He becomes the shadow, observing, studying, building. While others announce their dreams, he architects outcomes in the dark, in silence, in total control. Isolation isn't about loneliness. It's about strategic withdrawal. It's the war room, it's the dojo, it's the forge where the next version of you is beaten into existence. So stop fearing being alone. Start fearing what happens if you never are, because a man who cannot sit alone can never stand alone. Number 6. Discipline is the core muscle of ruthless men. Discipline is the final separator, the last filter. It's the hidden layer behind every elite man who ever controlled outcomes instead of being controlled by them. You see, most people can start. They get hyped, they set goals, they ride the high for a few days, but very few can continue, very few can repeat, very few can suffer in silence, without applause, without excitement, and keep going anyway. Those who can. They don't need motivation, they're built on something stronger, something colder, discipline. Discipline isn't pretty, it's not romantic. It doesn't care how you feel. It exists to break you down and then rebuild you into something dangerous, something precise. The man who obeys discipline becomes his own commander, his own code, his own machine. And in a world of men who fall apart the moment their feelings shift, that level of internal structure is terrifying. Most men wait to feel ready. But readiness is a myth. It's the lie comfort tells you to keep you soft. Discipline doesn't ask you how you feel, it hands you the task and expects it done. No negotiation, no bargaining, no weakness, because feelings are unpredictable. But actions? Those can be engineered. The Machiavellian doesn't depend on moods, he depends on systems. He understands that the man who trains himself to do what must be done, regardless of mood, becomes the most stable force in any environment. That's power, not raw strength, not momentary brilliance, but predictable execution over and over again until the outcome is inevitable. Discipline makes you dangerous because it makes you boring to chaos. You don't react, you don't spiral, you don't chase dopamine highs like the rest. Your day is already structured, your emotions already neutralized, and while others waste energy on deciding what to do next, you've already done it. Twice. Most men crack under pressure. Not because they're weak, but because they were never trained to obey structure when everything inside them screams for release. That's what discipline is, structured disobedience to your comfort. It's the art of standing still while your instincts beg you to run. It's turning down pleasure, not because it's wrong, but because it's irrelevant. The world rewards those who repeat. It crowns those who commit long after the excitement is gone. And no one tells you this up front. Because most people have never done anything long enough to realize it. They chase the next new thing. They chase freedom. But the paradox is this: discipline is the only true freedom. It frees you from laziness, from confusion, from regret, because it removes the question, "Should I?" and replaces it with, "It's already done." A disciplined man doesn't need to prove anything. His work speaks before he does. His habits walk into the room before he arrives. There's no need to announce, no need to explain. His actions are etched into time. Ask yourself, when the mood dies, when the doubt kicks in, when no one's watching, what remains? If it's not discipline, you're still prey. You're still at the mercy of the wind. But if it is discipline, then you're the wind. You shape outcomes. You move silently. You win without noise. This is why most men will never rise, because they only move when it feels good. They only train when they're hyped. They only build when they're inspired. And so they rot in cycles of mediocrity, stuck, dreaming, repeating the same excuses in different seasons. But you're here because something inside you refuses to rot. Something cold, something hard, something that doesn't want applause. It wants control. And control doesn't come from willpower. It comes from discipline hard-coded into your nervous system. Discipline that holds even when you're tired, when you're alone, when your mind whispers, "Just skip it." Those moments define everything. That quiet war between you and yourself. That decision, do I give in or do I rise? That's the exact moment where weak men fall off, where average men compromise, and where the untouchable man is forged. You don't need to do more. You need to repeat the right things without fail. You need to train your mind like a cold operator. No emotion, no doubt, just patterns, just systems. Discipline is repetition with meaning. And the man who honors that repetition builds power in silence. So let them mock your routines. Let them say you're too strict. Let them stay in bed while you move at 4:45 a.m. like clockwork. Every time you obey your code, you're building something no one can take. Self-respect backed by evidence. And that kind of internal authority, that's the mark of a ruler, of a tactician, of a man who can walk through storms untouched because his habits shield him from collapse. Comment this below and make it your signature. Discipline over impulse, power over comfort. Let it be more than a phrase. Let it be a warning to the old version of you. Discipline isn't divine. It's not godly. It's earned, engineered, and enforced. It's not a gift. It's a choice, made daily, without weakness, without exception. The man who masters it, masters himself. Number 6, emotional control is a weapon, not a weakness. Control your emotions, or be controlled by them. That's the law. That's the line between a man who commands outcomes and one who gets played like a puppet. Every insult, every trigger, every discomfort becomes a string tied to his spine. Pull, react, collapse. Modern society worships emotional expression like it's sacred. They push men to feel everything, to open up, to wear their heart on their sleeve. But here's what they never say. The moment your emotions become public, so does your leverage. Your reactions become patterns. Your patterns become weaknesses. And your weaknesses become weapons in someone else's hands. Emotional control is not suppression, it's command. It's awareness without surrender. It's seeing the storm rise inside you and holding the wheel with both hands while the rest drown. The Machiavellian man doesn't suppress rage. He observes it, he studies it, and when the time is right, he weaponizes it like a scalpel. Not a scream, no wasted motion, no wasted energy, just execution. He doesn't need to bark to prove power. Power in its rawest form is silent, cold, precise, controlled. The man who can sit still while his world burns is a man the world can't touch. Control is terrifying to the emotional, because it cannot be predicted, it cannot be baited. You say something offensive and he doesn't flinch. You test his ego and he doesn't bite. He's calm. He's calculating. That stillness makes people uncomfortable because it reflects their lack of it. Uncontrolled emotion makes men fragile. predictable, exploitable. And that's why emotional mastery is rare, because most men never earn it. They lash out when insulted, they collapse under pressure, they chase validation, then break when it's denied. And they call it being real. Number, that's being weak. And weakness is never rewarded in the real world. It's punished. A powerful man has nothing to prove emotionally. His silence is more violent than your words. His restraint is more frightening than your rage, because you never know what he's thinking, and unpredictability is dominance. Here's what you must understand. If someone can provoke you, they can control you. And if they can control you, they can beat you without ever throwing a punch. The battlefield of power is psychological, and most men lose the war inside their heads before they ever step outside. But not you. You're here because you're not chasing comfort. You're chasing control, real control, the kind that turns you into a weapon, the kind that allows you to move in chaos like it's a chessboard. Emotional control is not soft, it's strategic warfare. And when mastered, it makes you the most dangerous man in the room. So train for silence, train for calm, let others break, let them bleed emotion. You stay cold. Stay still, stay unreadable, because one day they'll realize you were never passive, you were just planning. If you're building that kind of power, if you value this kind of control, then lock it in. Like the video, subscribe to Psygrythm, and turn on notifications, because what's coming next builds kings. Number 7, energy is currency, guard it with force. Energy is currency, the rarest kind, and just like money, most men waste it. They spend it on pointless arguments, meaningless scrolling, chasing approval, reacting to noise, and trying to please people who wouldn't care if they disappeared tomorrow. Then they wonder why they're drained, weak, unmotivated. It's not burnout, it's leakage. A high-level man guards his energy like a fortress. He doesn't hand it out like samples. He doesn't reply to every message, doesn't explain himself to everyone, doesn't chase clout, trends, or opinions, because he knows energy spent where it doesn't belong is energy stolen from what actually matters. Every interaction is a transaction. Every conversation, every click, every distraction costs you. It robs you of clarity, of presence, of drive. Most men are broke not because they lack time, but because they waste their internal fuel trying to be everywhere for everyone all the time. That kind of man is never dangerous. He's just available. But the disciplined man, he's scarce. His attention is expensive. His presence isn't easy to access. His energy is calculated. If it doesn't serve the mission, it doesn't get a drop, period. This isn't about being cold for the sake of ego. It's about conserving fire. Because a scattered flame can't burn through anything, but a concentrated one, it cuts through steel. That's what your energy must become. Focused fire, lethal, unforgiving, sharp. Think about it. How much stronger, clearer, faster could you move if you weren't bleeding energy on things that give you nothing in return? Imagine redirecting every wasted thought, every mindless reaction into your goals, your discipline, your strategy. That's not fantasy. That's a decision. One most men are too weak to make. But not you. Cut the leaks. Ignore what doesn't matter. Protect your momentum like a war asset. Because it is. You're not just conserving energy, you're consolidating power. This is how killers move. Quietly, intentionally, no waste, no leaks, just pure, sharpened motion toward a singular outcome. Number 8, attention is the new throne. Sit on it or serve someone who does. In the ancient world, power was land. Control the territory, control the people. In the industrial world, power was machines, capital, factories, labor. But in today's world, none of that matters if you don't have one thing: attention. Attention is the throne now, the ultimate lever. The man who controls it controls perception, and the man who controls perception controls reality. This isn't metaphor, it's math. Every brand, every government, every influencer, every enemy, they're fighting for the same resource: your attention. They don't need your money, not yet. First, they need your eyes, your ears, your time. Because once they have your attention, they can sell you, steer you, soften you. Attention is the most valuable currency on Earth, more valuable than gold, more volatile than crypto, and more sought after than oil. And here's the brutal truth. You're either sitting on it or serving someone who is. Look around you. Everyone wants it. Everyone's screaming. Everyone's performing, posting, chasing that hit. Most people spend their entire day trying to get noticed, trying to stay visible, trying to extract attention from others, but never owning their own. Here's what they don't teach you. If you don't command your attention, someone else will, and they'll do it subtly, slowly, with algorithms, with trends, with temptation, with guilt, with clever design and psychology so invisible you'll think you're choosing, when really you're being harvested. A man who can't protect his own attention is a man who will always serve those who can. You think kings scroll all day? You think war generals get caught in comment sections? You think tacticians jump from distraction to distraction chasing dopamine? Number. Because every second of wasted attention is a crack in the throne. It's weakness, it's noise, it's decay. The elite don't allow their focus to be scattered by nonsense. They engineer their inputs. They control what enters their mental feed. They know exactly what they're giving attention to, and more importantly, what they're denying it to. And that's the real secret. Power isn't just what you consume, it's what you ignore. Weak men give attention to everything: sports scores, celebrity drama, trends, gossip, passive scrolling, other people's lives, arguments that don't matter, media that poisons them, ideas they didn't choose, and then they wonder why they feel exhausted, confused, lost, angry, small. Because their mind is no longer their own. It's been hijacked, leased out, fragmented into useless pieces. But not the disciplined, not the focused, not the ones who understand what the world really runs on. Those men, they guard their attention with militaristic discipline. They treat their focus like royalty. Not everyone gets to sit with it. Not everything earns access. You want to win? Control your attention first. Not your schedule, not your apps, not your goals. Control your attention, because everything else obeys it. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. Where your energy flows, your time disappears. And where your time disappears, your life is either built or destroyed. That's why the modern battlefield is internal, digital, invisible. No guns, no blood, just your mind bleeding out through notifications, messages, noise, endless content loops. And all of it designed to steal your mental throne. You were meant to be a king, but kings don't beg to be seen. They command silence. They choose when to speak, what to see, and who gets their gaze. That's the mindset now, because if you don't adopt it, you're not just falling behind, you're being used. Look around. Everything wants your attention, everyone's screaming for it, but who taught you how to protect it? Who taught you how to weaponize it? No one, because the system doesn't want you focused. It wants you entertained, addicted, predictable, and distracted just enough to never question who's sitting on the throne you should have claimed. Here's what they'll never admit. If you could take back your attention fully, relentlessly, with precision, you would become unstoppable. Not over time, not next year, immediately. Because everything you've ever needed is already within you. It's just buried under 10,000 inputs you didn't choose. Cut them. Audit your life like a surgeon. What do you consume daily? Who's feeding your mind? What earns your attention? What manipulates it? What weakens it? Strip it all down until you're left with only what matters. Your mission, your vision, your path. That's the throne. That's the crown. And once you sit on it, you protect it like a warlord. No access, no distraction, no leak. You have to earn your own attention back, reclaim it, train it, discipline it like a wild animal. Because in its raw form, attention is chaotic, untrained, weak. It jumps, it reacts, it scatters. But once mastered, it becomes the most lethal weapon a man can possess. More than strength, more than charm, more than intelligence. Because attention, sustained and intentional, can build empires from thin air. You want to learn faster, control your attention. Want to outwork others? Control your attention. Want deeper relationships, sharper instincts, better decisions, more mental clarity, more respect, more power? Control your attention. Not once, not weekly, daily, hourly, relentlessly. Because the world is hunting it every second. And every second you let your guard down, you serve someone else's kingdom. But you weren't born to serve. You were born to build, to rule, to own your perception and forge your own reality with it. So stop chasing visibility. Start building invisibility with intention. Let your silence echo louder than noise. Let your work speak. Let your presence dominate. Not because it's loud, but because it's fully directed. You don't need more time. You need to own the time you already have. You don't need more tools. You need unbreakable focus. You don't need more attention from the world. You need to own yours first. Sit on the throne or spend your life bowing to someone who does. Number 9 dash, become untouchable. This is the end of the beginning, the final threshold, the last transformation. Everything we've built until now, focus, isolation, obsession, discipline, emotional control, energy preservation, attention management, it all leads here to one outcome, one unshakable state, becoming untouchable, not invincible, not immune, not perfect, untouchable. There's a difference. Being untouchable doesn't mean you never get hit. It means you never break, you never fold. You absorb chaos and give back silence. You absorb pressure and give back progress. You absorb betrayal, loss, friction, and give back movement. Forward, always. You don't get there by luck. You get there by code. You get there by strategy. And you get there by stripping away everything weak and temporary from your mind, until what remains is made of steel. Most men are constantly reacting. They flinch at criticism, bend to emotions, change their behavior for approval, and bleed energy trying to defend a self-image they don't even control. They're loud, exposed, and fragile. But the man who becomes untouchable doesn't play by that script. He moves in silence. He builds in shadows. He doesn't announce his pain, doesn't explain his discipline, doesn't justify his distance. His focus is his defense. His execution is his answer. His results are his proof. Becoming untouchable means no one owns a piece of you. Not the crowd, not your past, not your doubt, not your emotions. It means your reactions are chosen, not triggered. Your attention is placed, not pulled. Your time is guarded, not stolen. Your purpose isn't up for debate. It means the world doesn't get to reach inside your mind and pull levers, because the doors are closed, the walls are built, the codes are locked. That's the final law. Guard your mind like a fortress, your peace like a war asset, your purpose like a crown. That's where power lives now, not in what you can do, but in what others can't do to you. The world will test you, always. It'll try to provoke you, trigger you, lure you into explaining yourself, defending your moves, breaking your rhythm. That's the real game. That's the hidden test. And most men fail because they still crave response. They still need to be understood. They still want to be liked. So they give access. They open the gates. And once the gates are open, the enemy doesn't need to break you. You'll break yourself from the inside. But when you lock the gates, when you stop bleeding approval, attention, and energy, you become a threat. A man whose silence is louder than others' noise. A man whose boundaries make people uncomfortable. A man whose lack of need makes him untouchable. Because nothing is more dangerous than the man who needs nothing from the world except what he chooses to take. He's not controlled by emotion. He's not owned by public opinion. He's not driven by clout, lust, or validation. He's driven by one thing: domination of self. You don't get here overnight. It takes war. War with your lower self. War with your distractions. War with your instinct to respond, explain, or seek comfort. It takes relentless training, psychological discipline, internal rewiring. But the result is unlike anything most men will ever taste. You walk into a room and don't need to speak. Your presence says enough. You get tested, and your response isn't panic, it's stillness. You lose something and you don't spiral. You recalculate. You win something and you don't celebrate. You double down. People betray you and you don't explode. You erase them from the equation without a sound. No panic, no negotiation, just movement. Strategic, cold, precise. This is the highest form of control, not over others, over yourself. And it's the rarest power in the world, because it can't be taken. It has to be built, earned, forged, and once you have it, no one can unseat you from your own throne. You become unreadable, unpredictable, unshakable, because there's nothing to grab onto, no weakness to exploit, no access to manipulate. You've built the one thing every enemy fears, a man who no longer reacts, a man who cannot be pulled out of position, a man who makes decisions from code, not chaos. The world hates men like that, because they can't control them, can't shame them, can't seduce them, can't guilt them into playing the game. And that's exactly why you must become one, not to hurt others, not to prove anything, but to protect your mission, to finish what you started, to live like a weapon, clean, controlled, and pointed only where it matters. This is where all the pieces come together. Focus removes distraction. Obsession drowns the noise. Discipline enforces the structure. Emotional control keeps you steady. Energy preservation keeps you sharp. Attention mastery makes you lethal. And when all of that becomes instinct, becomes baseline, you don't need to shout that you've changed. People feel it. They sense the shift. They tread carefully. They know you're not built like the rest. Because you don't move like the rest. You've killed the weak version of yourself. The one that needed to be seen. The one that explained everything. The one that got thrown off by disrespect or silence or doubt. That version is dead. And in its place stands something rare, something calm, something no one can shake, something untouchable. Comment this below. Calm, cold, controlled, untouchable. Let the old version of you see what it's been replaced by. Let everyone watching know you don't just understand these laws, you embody them. And if you've been walking this path with me from part 1, now's the moment to step fully into it, because we're not done. Not even close. Sigrhythm is just getting started. This channel is for the few who are willing to let go of softness and train for something greater. Mental strength, psychological edge, tactical self-mastery. The kind of power that can't be given, only built. So if that's the path you've chosen, solidify your commitment. Like the video, subscribe to Sigrhythm, turn on notifications. Because from this point on, we go deeper, sharper, colder. You've just completed the 10 laws. You've crossed the threshold. Now carry this mindset into everything you do until the world can't touch you, until you're the man they can't manipulate, can't decode, can't control, until you are the silence in the noise, the calm in the chaos. The mind behind the mask, the one they can't touch because you no longer bleed.